breaking up with an avoidant, reclaiming your power. Let me ask you something. How many of you have ever been in a relationship where you felt like you were chasing a ghost? You reached out, you gave love, you showed up, but they pulled away. One moment they're warm, the next ice cold. You start questioning yourself. Am I too much? Am I not enough? Listen to me carefully. It's not you, it's a pattern. And today you're going to break it, because here's the truth. If someone cannot meet you in love, it's not your job to fix them. It's your job to step into the love you deserve. Love at its core is not meant to be a pursuit. It is not something you have to chase, prove, or beg for. When you find yourself constantly seeking validation, asking for reassurance, or wondering where you stand in someone's life, that is not love. It's insecurity disguised as attachment. Real love does not require you to shrink, to strategize, or to fear that one wrong move will push the other person away. Real love stays. When you are involved with an avoidant partner, the dynamic is often one of pursuit and withdrawal. You reach out, they pull away. You express your feelings, they shut down. You try to bridge the gap, but every step forward is met with an equal step back. This creates a cycle of longing, of feeling that if only you did something differently, texted less, needed less, spoke less, they would finally come closer. But the truth is, their behavior is not about you. It is about their inability to meet you where you are. And that is the fundamental difference between real love and the illusion of love. Love does not keep you questioning your worth. Love does not make you feel like you are too much or not enough. Love does not create anxiety, confusion, or a sense of emotional starvation. The very moment you have to convince someone to be present, to choose you, to reassure you, is the moment you are no longer experiencing love. You are experiencing emotional survival. And emotional survival is not sustainable. It keeps you in a state of high alert, constantly wondering if today will be the day they finally show up the way you need. But real love does not operate on uncertainty. When love is true, it feels like ease. It feels like safety. You don't have to chase, because the person who truly wants to be with you is already there, willingly, without resistance. They communicate, they reassure, they show up. They don't make you feel like an inconvenience for needing clarity or connection. Instead of feeling like you have to fight for their time and attention, you feel like you are exactly where you belong. That's what real love looks like. It stays, not because you beg for it, but because it wants to. One of the hardest truths to accept is that an avoidant partner is not withholding love because they are testing you, because they want you to prove yourself, or because they secretly want you to keep trying harder. They are withholding love because they are afraid of it. They fear intimacy not because of you, but because of their own past wounds, their own conditioning, their own subconscious need to protect themselves from vulnerability. And no amount of your love will change that unless they choose to heal. This is where many people get trapped, believing that if they just show more patience, if they love a little harder, if they prove they are safe, the avoidant partner will finally open up. But love is not meant to be a test of endurance. If someone is not willing or able to meet you in a relationship, your role is not to convince them. Your role is to recognize your own value and choose a love that flows instead of one you have to force. It is painful to accept that someone you care about deeply may never be able to love you in the way you deserve, but the real pain does not come from losing them. It comes from losing yourself in the process of trying to make them stay. When you find yourself sacrificing your needs, tolerating inconsistency, or making excuses for their emotional unavailability, you are settling for something that is not love. It is fear-based attachment, and fear-based attachment will always leave you feeling empty. The right relationship will never make you feel like you have to earn someone's love. It will not leave you doubting, questioning, or feeling like you are too much. The person who is meant to love you will do so freely, without hesitation. They will make you feel seen, valued, and safe. They will not require you to suppress your needs or make yourself smaller just to keep them comfortable. Love, when it is real, feels secure. And when it is secure, it stays. The moment you stop chasing, you give yourself the opportunity to receive love that is meant for you, the kind of love that does not run when things get real, that does not shut down when emotions arise, that does not keep you on edge, wondering if you will be abandoned. That love exists, but you will never find it as long as you are holding on to someone who keeps running. Let go of the idea that love is something you have to fight for. Let go of the belief that if you just do enough, they will change. Love is not a battlefield. It is a safe space, a home, a place where you can show up fully and be met with the same energy in return. And when you truly understand that, you will never again chase something that was never meant to stay. When you are in a relationship with an avoidant partner, you often find yourself trapped in a cycle of uncertainty. One moment they are warm, engaged, and affectionate, and the next they are distant, cold, and withdrawn. This hot and cold dynamic keeps you in a state of emotional limbo, constantly trying to decode their behavior, searching for signs that they truly care. But the truth is, love should not feel like a puzzle you have to solve. Love is clarity, not confusion. Avoidant partners create an emotional push-pull that leaves you second-guessing your own worth. When they pull away, you instinctively try to close the gap, thinking that if you just say the right thing, give them space, or prove your love, they will come back. And when they do return, it's often just enough to keep you invested, just enough to make you believe that if you keep holding on, one day they will be different. But this is not connection, it's conditioning. It's a cycle designed to keep you chasing something that will never truly be stable. People with avoidant attachment styles struggle with deep intimacy because vulnerability feels unsafe to them. They may crave connection at times, but the moment they feel too close, their survival instinct kicks in, telling them to create distance. This has nothing to do with your worth or how lovable you are. It is a self-protective mechanism rooted in their own past wounds. Yet when you are on the receiving end of this behavior, it is easy to internalize their withdrawal as a reflection of your value. You start believing that if you were just more patient, more understanding, less emotional, or less needy, they wouldn't pull away. But this is a lie. Their inconsistency is not caused by you, nor can it be fixed by you. Love is meant to be mutual, consistent, and reciprocated. When someone genuinely wants to be with you, you will not have to chase their attention, decode their mixed signals, or settle for moments of connection that are overshadowed by long stretches of emotional distance. A person who is emotionally available will make their feelings clear. They will reassure you not just with words, but with actions. You won't have to beg for their time or wonder where you stand. With real love, you feel safe, not anxious. The confusion that avoidant partners create is often subtle but deeply damaging. They may not reject you outright, but they do just enough to keep you from fully leaving. They respond just often enough to keep your hope alive. They offer glimpses of affection that make you believe they are capable of real intimacy, yet they never fully let you in. This intermittent reinforcement keeps you hooked, making the moments of warmth feel even more valuable because they are so rare. But love is not supposed to be rare. You are not supposed to feel grateful for the bare minimum. One of the most painful aspects of being in a relationship with an avoidant person is that you may see their potential. You may believe that underneath their walls they do love you, they just don't know how to show it. And while that may be true, love that is not expressed, nurtured, or fully present is not love you can build a relationship on. You cannot be the one doing all the emotional labor, carrying the weight of the connection, hoping that one day they will see your worth and change. Real love does not require convincing. When you are constantly in a state of uncertainty, trying to figure out what your partner is thinking or feeling, that is not love, it is survival mode. It triggers your deepest insecurities, making you feel like you have to fight for someone's affection. But love is not a battle. It is not something you have to earn. The right person will not leave you feeling anxious and unsure. The right person will meet you where you are and walk beside you, not make you chase them. You deserve love that does not make you feel like you are asking for too much. You deserve a partner who communicates openly, who does not run when things get serious, who does not make you feel like your emotions are a burden. The pain of staying in a confusing, inconsistent relationship is far greater than the pain of walking away, because when you stay, you teach yourself to accept less than what you truly need. You begin to doubt yourself, to shrink, to settle for a love that is only half there. If someone is making you feel like love is confusing, that is your answer. Love is not meant to be a constant question mark. It is meant to be the safest, most secure place you know. And the moment you stop accepting confusion, you create space for the kind of love that brings clarity, consistency, and peace. Love is not built on what could be, it is built on what is. So many people stay in relationships with avoidant partners because they are holding on to potential, what the relationship could look like if only the other person healed, if only they were more open, if only they overcame their fears. But love does not thrive in hypotheticals. Love is about presence, about showing up in the here and now, not about waiting for someone to one day become the person you need them to be. When you fall in love with potential, you are not in love with the person in front of you. You are in love with the version of them that exists only in your mind. You see their moments of warmth, their glimpses of vulnerability, and you think, this is who they really are. If they could just be like this all the time, things would be perfect. But that version of them, the one that is fully present, emotionally available, and unafraid of connection, is not the reality. Because if it were, you wouldn't have to fight for it. Love requires both people to be fully engaged, fully committed, and fully present. It cannot grow when one person is always halfway in and halfway out. Avoidant partners struggle with presence because deep connection makes them uncomfortable. They may want love, but they fear the emotional closeness that comes with it, so they keep their distance. They give just enough to keep you hoping, just enough to keep you believing that they will change. But real love does not exist in fragments. It exists in consistency. And consistency is something an avoidant partner often cannot give. The biggest trap of loving an avoidant person is the belief that if you just wait long enough, if you love them the right way, if you prove you are safe, they will finally let their walls down. But waiting for someone to be ready for love is a painful, never-ending road because readiness is not something you can force in another person. It is something they must choose for themselves. And if they are not choosing to be present now, then all you are doing is postponing your own happiness in the hopes that one day they will wake up and be different. Love is not a project. It is not something you build alone while the other person resists, hesitates, or holds back. If you are the only one doing the emotional work, if you are the only one trying to make the relationship function, then you are not in a partnership, you are in a one-sided investment, and in a one-sided investment, you will always end up emotionally bankrupt. When love is real, it does not feel like waiting, does not feel like trying to unlock a hidden door or solving a puzzle. It feels like two people choosing each other every single day. It feels like knowing where you stand. It feels like presence, not promises. The person who truly loves you will not ask you to be patient while they figure out how to love you. They will show up for you now, in this moment, without hesitation. It is painful to accept that someone you love may never be ready to meet you in the way you need them to, but the pain of staying in a relationship built on potential is far greater than the pain of letting go. Because every day you stay, you are teaching yourself to settle for less than what you deserve. You are choosing uncertainty over clarity. You are prioritizing someone else's growth over your own peace, and no love is worth losing yourself for. Real love is here in the present moment. It is in the way someone looks at you with certainty, in the way they choose you without fear, in the way they make you feel safe, not anxious. When love is true, it does not make you question whether it will last. It does not make you feel like you are waiting for something that may never happen. Love that is built on presence is steady, clear, and unwavering, and when you find it, you will never again mistake potential for something worth holding on to. Breaking free from the cycle of an avoidant relationship is one of the most powerful acts of self-love you can make. It is a decision to choose yourself, your peace, and your emotional well-being over a connection that keeps you in a state of longing, confusion, and self-doubt. The reason it feels so hard to walk away is not because you are weak or because the relationship was meant to last. It is because you have been conditioned to believe that love must be fought for. But love is not meant to be a battle. Love is meant to be a place of refuge, a space where you feel seen, valued, and safe. When you are in love with someone who is emotionally unavailable, you often ignore your own needs in an attempt to keep the connection alive. You tell yourself to be more patient, to be more understanding, to not ask for too much. You rationalize their distance, making excuses for their inability to show up fully. And in the process, you start betraying yourself. The version of you who once knew what they wanted, who once had clear standards and expectations, begins to shrink. You lower your voice, you silence your needs, you wait for someone to wake up and realize your worth. But love should never require you to lose yourself in order to keep someone else. The moment you decide to walk away, you are breaking a pattern that has kept you stuck in cycles of emotional deprivation. You are choosing to release a relationship that feeds on your insecurities rather than nourishes your soul. And yes, it will hurt. It will feel like loss. But what you are losing is not love. You are losing the illusion of love. You are grieving the potential, the dream, the version of the relationship that only existed in your mind. And while that pain is real, it is also temporary. What lasts far longer is the pain of staying in something that slowly erodes your sense of self-worth. Many people stay in avoidant relationships because they fear that leaving means giving up, that if they just hold on a little longer, things will change. But the truth is, the only thing that changes when you stay is you. You become more anxious, more insecure, more willing to accept behaviors that once would have been unacceptable. Your world starts to revolve around the fleeting moments of connection rather than the consistency of true love. But a relationship should never feel like an emotional roller coaster. The highs should not be so intoxicating that they make you forget the pain of the lows. Choosing to leave is choosing stability over chaos, clarity over confusion, and peace over pain. It is recognizing that love is not about convincing someone to stay, but about finding someone who chooses you just as much as you choose them. The right love will not make you question your place in someone's life. It will not make you feel like you have to fight for attention, affection, or commitment. The right love will be steady, present, and unwavering. When you break free, you will feel a pull to go back. The familiarity of the cycle will call to you. You will wonder if maybe you were too impatient, too demanding, too emotional. You will miss them, even though they were never fully there. That is normal. That is what happens when you break an attachment that was rooted in inconsistency. But just because something feels familiar does not mean it is right. Just because you miss someone does not mean they were meant for you. Missing someone does not mean you should go back. It simply means you are human. The real healing begins when you choose yourself again and again, even in the moments when it feels hard. When you remind yourself that you deserve love that does not make you feel anxious or insecure. When you understand that real love is not found in the ones who make you beg for it, but in the ones who give it freely. The act of walking away is not just about leaving them. It is about returning to yourself. It is about remembering that you are whole, that you are worthy, and that you do not need to settle for half-hearted love. At first, it may feel like loss, but in time you will see that what you gained is far greater. You will gain your freedom, your peace, your ability to trust yourself again. You will no longer waste your energy on someone who keeps their heart closed. Instead, you will create space for someone who is capable of loving you fully, completely, and without hesitation. And when that love comes, you will realize why you had to let go. You will see that by choosing yourself, you made room for something real. And that is the greatest act of self-love you will ever make. Healing after breaking up with an avoidant partner is not just about moving on from the relationship. It is about breaking the patterns that kept you in it. It is about rebuilding your sense of self, reclaiming your emotional well-being, and learning to trust in love again. When you have been in a dynamic where love felt uncertain, where you had to earn affection and prove your worth, it leaves deep wounds. But those wounds are not a reflection of your value. They are simply reminders of where you need to heal. The first step to healing is acknowledging the truth. The relationship did not fail because you were not enough. It did not fall apart because you were too emotional, too needy, or too difficult. It ended because one person was unable to meet you at the level of connection you needed, and that has nothing to do with your worth. It has everything to do with compatibility and emotional readiness. You could have done everything perfectly, and the outcome would have been the same, because love cannot thrive where there is fear of intimacy. One of the biggest challenges in healing from an avoidant relationship is learning to separate love from longing. When you are with someone who is inconsistent, your brain starts associating emotional highs and lows with passion. The moments of closeness feel intoxicating because they are rare. The distance creates desire. This is not love. It is a trauma bond. It is an attachment to the cycle of reward and withdrawal. And breaking that bond means retraining your mind to recognize that real love does not feel like anxiety. Real love does not make you question your worth or leave you in a constant state of uncertainty. You have to allow yourself to grieve not just the person, but the version of you who stayed, who tolerated inconsistency, who accepted less than they deserved. There is no shame in that, only growth. You stayed because you loved, you stayed because you hoped, and that is a beautiful thing. But now you must give that same love and hope to yourself. You must choose to believe that love is not meant to hurt, that relationships are not supposed to leave you feeling depleted, and that someone else's inability to show up fully is not a reflection of how lovable you are. The healing process is about rediscovering yourself outside of the relationship. When you have spent so much time trying to make something work, you lose pieces of yourself in the process. Now is the time to reconnect with who you are when you are not trying to be enough for someone else. What brings you joy? What makes you feel alive? What parts of yourself did you neglect because you were so focused on keeping the relationship together? Healing is not just about processing the past. It is about building a future where you no longer settle for anything less than what you deserve. It is also about setting new standards for love. Once you have broken free from an avoidant relationship, you have an opportunity to redefine what love means to you. Love should not feel like uncertainty. It should not feel like waiting, like guessing, like chasing. It should feel safe, steady, and secure. The right person will not make you beg for clarity. They will not make you question where you stand. They will not run when things get real. They will meet you with the same level of emotional openness and commitment that you are willing to give. Forgiveness is also a part of healing. Not just forgiving them, but forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for staying as long as you did, for hoping they would change, for not walking away sooner. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. And now that you know better, you can choose differently. You can choose yourself. You can choose love that does not feel like an uphill battle. Healing takes time. There will be moments when you miss them, moments when you wonder if they ever truly cared, moments when you are tempted to reach out. But remind yourself, missing them does not mean they were meant for you. Craving the connection does not mean it was good for you. Love is not supposed to leave you feeling uncertain. Love is not supposed to make you feel like you have to prove your worth. The love you deserve will never make you feel like you are too much or not enough. It will simply love you as you are. The beauty of healing is that one day you will wake up and realize that the person you once thought you could not live without is no longer on your mind. You will feel free, you will feel whole, and when real love comes into your life, you will recognize it not because it is overwhelming or intoxicating, but because it feels peaceful, steady, and sure. And that is the kind of love that will never make you question whether you are worthy of it, because you always have been. Breaking free from an avoidant relationship is not just about leaving another person behind, it is about stepping into your own power. It is about recognizing that love should not be a battle, that real connection does not require you to shrink, chase, or settle. It is about reclaiming your worth, your voice, and your ability to trust in love again. You are not walking away because you gave up. You are walking away because you finally see the truth. You deserve more than inconsistent love. You deserve a relationship where you are met with the same level of commitment, presence, and vulnerability that you are willing to give. You deserve love that makes you feel safe, not anxious, seen, not ignored, cherished, not tolerated. Healing will take time. There will be moments of doubt, moments where you wonder if you made the right choice, moments where you miss them. But every step you take away from uncertainty is a step toward the love and peace you truly deserve. Keep reminding yourself you are worthy of love that does not require you to beg for it. And one day, when you find that love, the kind that is steady, clear, and true, you will look back and realize that walking away was not the end, it was the beginning of everything you were always meant to have. Thank you to everyone who has ever struggled with an avoidant relationship and found the strength to walk away. Your courage is an inspiration, and your healing journey is proof that love does not have to be painful to be real. And thank you to those who are still in the process of breaking free. You are stronger than you think, and the love you are searching for begins with the love you give yourself. And finally, thank you to everyone who believes in the power of healing, self-worth, and true connection. May we all continue to choose relationships that lift us up, not break us down. May we never settle for anything less than the love we deserve.